Chelsea Luhu here, reviewing Daniel Jones' Hydra's Wake. Between the scale of bad, medium, good, and excellent, I would say it's a medium good. The characters are written in a good and excellent way. Like every single character besides 2 and 1 is not for what you think. Alright, Rogue. I liked him because even though he was cautious, he wasn't so cautious that he wouldn't give aid or empathy to Crystal, and didn't even hesitate to deliver her justice when she begged him to. So that was a good thing. That's what I really loved about him. And he just really, he just kept pushing forward, no matter what was happening. He just kept his eyes on the prize of surviving the day. So that's what I really loved about him. Crystal, even though I liked her, I didn't love her. And here's why. Although I understand why she was kicking and hitting and punching, because of her trauma with men. But I feel like towards the end of the book that should have not been present, even as a joke. I feel like as she got to know Rogue during the book, she should have known that not all men are like that. So I wish the writer would have ended that behavior way sooner than he did. So that was my one criticism for character as Claire as a character. I liked Hunter and I liked Ned as the hired gunmen or the henchmen of Albert. I liked Hunter because he was determined to survive just as much as Rogue. Even that meant trying to side with Albert a little bit. He was just trying to do what he needed to do to live. And that's a very human trait. And I think that's actually kind of admirable in a way. That he is confident in himself and what he's doing to carry out what he thinks needs to be done to guarantee his survival. So I think that made him likable and not hateable, in my opinion. Ned, I loved Ned. He fought so hard alongside with Hunter. I loved Hunter and Ned so much that I didn't want to leave the scenes between them. I almost I almost said I wish this book was about them, almost, because their relatability and then just them being such a good team. So that was definitely excellent writing for Hunter and Ned. And I love Ned, even though he was written in a little bit of him to be like a womanizer type of character. I liked him because he was just as determined and he was lighthearted during certain scenes. And so he was the one who kind of lightened the mood up when him and Hunter were in the mines. So that's why Ned grew on me too. All right. Albert, he's not the overall threat, but he's the bad guy. He's just meant to be like a challenge of sorts for Rogue. And this is where the most harshest part of my criticism is about to come in. I think Albert weighs down the book. His villain type character is so overbearing. It's one thing to have him dressed in a certain way, but he talks way too long. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but when he does, he just goes on. Like, if you imagine the typical, like, one of those anime villains, how they have to have a monologue before they fight the hero, that is Albert. And he had him so overbearing to where it was kind of breaking logic. Like, even his men started not to, like, believe in him anymore, or start to turn on him. And maybe that was the intention with the author to do that, because Albert was so high strong, overbearing type villain that but it really just backfired, and it made him really unpalatable, as in for Albert as a villain. I think this book overall would do well if Albert wasn't in it. That's so harsh, but that's how I feel. I hope I do want to read more. I definitely want to read book 2, just because of Rogue and Crystal and Hunter. Especially if Rogue and Hunter are in the second book, I'll definitely read it, because I just love them so much. But yeah, if you want to, next villain in the book, have anything opposite of Albert. Like, Albert really weighed down the story. I already said that, but that's how strongly I feel about it. If I could find him, man. Let's see here. Dusty. I like Dusty too. Yeah, Dusty was pretty good. Oh yeah, Mac. Mac was just the evil henchman version of Albert. Pretty much, he was just like that royal servant. Like, no matter what, even in the face of, like, death. I think he was a little bit unrealistic, but someone's got to be like that, right? All right, all right. That concludes my review. Sorry for repeating certain things. I try to sound a little professional, but not just flub it up even more. All right. I do recommend this book overall, just because of all the other characters that are in it. So yeah, I would give this book 4 stars, and maybe, like, for Albert alone, maybe 3.5, because Albert was really, like, I think it was the only character that was poorly written in this entire book. But overall, each character helps overlook that mistake. So definitely read this. It's definitely it's a good medium, decent read. I recommend it. All right.